we'll turn to example 2. So notice in example 2, and I'm going to underline this, y equals negative g of x. This, just to do the same thing, it's a vertical reflection. That's a reflection over our x-axis. Your x-axis equation is y equals 0. So they could either say reflect over the x-axis, or they could say reflect over the line y equals 0. And if I was doing this reflection, I would sort of go, okay, maximums and minimums, those seem like important points. Okay? If I took this maximum point, which is at 1, 6, notice your scale is going by 2's, then when I reflect that vertically, I would have 1, negative 6. And 3, 2 would become 3, negative 2. So we see the negative is outside the function. Now just having those 2 points, can your brain flip it? You might want one other point. Another really nice point for reflections often deals with the x-intercepts and y-intercepts. So if we look at both of those on our red graph, we have an x-intercept there and a y-intercept. X and y-intercepts are there. With the y-intercept, that one would still get flipped down. Can you see that? But can you see with the x-intercept that our y-coordinate is 0? And when you multiply 0 by negative 1, it's going to stay the same. So sometimes, it used to be on the provincial exam, they would look to make sure that when you graph this, and so now I'm going to try to reflect this nicely. I'll put arrowheads on the graph even though the original one just ended at the edges. They would check to see how accurate you were at your x-intercepts, because it should be the same. And that's a really easy point if you're graphing them on the same one, just to add that dot, that your x-intercept would be exactly the same. And so the red graph, when it's flipped over the x-axis, becomes the blue graph. Now if we do domain and range here, of the red one, the domain was everything, because there's arrowheads here, meaning that it's getting wider forever, no minimum value, no maximum value. Same thing with the range. And even though we flipped it, the domain and range would be everything for that as well. So write down the following questions, 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11. Circle them as well in the homework.